What's up, everybody? It's Erin.
And Nicole. This is Dude That's Fucked Up.
How y'all doing?
I have a cold, so if I sound a little nasally or if I sneeze really hard and piss myself, because I've been doing that literally every 5 fucking minutes the last 3 days. Today, this is TMI, but today I was sitting on the floor making a TikTok in my bedroom, and I sneezed so hard I peed because I was sitting on, I mean, just a little bit, like, you know, it's
it just makes me feel so much better about myself. Okay.
Yeah, it's happening, and I didn't even have kids, you know?
Yeah. Okay.
So gravity takes us all at some point. That's all I want to say. Like, you know, you just got there faster because of what happened down there. But listen.
It's like a landslide, you know?
It's like,
it was. Landslide brought me down. Sorry.
Oh, no.
I'm sorry.
No, it's good. But I sneezed so hard, I peed a little, and it shot up through my butt. Like, it shot out the front and the back. Because of how I was sitting, like, cross-legged.
Like your thumb is on the hose. You gave yourself a piss enema.
Oh, my God. I just, like, felt it, like, it's like, you know, a scene out of, like... a flood movie, and it's just like all of a sudden I felt it like shoot back, and I was just like, oh God, and I went to the bathroom and took care of it, but I had to change my underwear. But
oh my God,
it's like not even that much, you know, but I just, and even I'm like, is this pee or discharge? Like, I don't even know. It's pee. But at first I couldn't tell the first few a couple days ago. And then
you got snot coming out of both ends.
Oh, baby. It is so disgusting. And the sneezes are so hard. It's like something so deep in there wants to get out, and it's not getting out. It's just like causing bladder issues. So
oh my God. Ugh.
I know. So
it's like a face fart or something.
It is. It's like a face shart.
Yeah. Because
snot comes out and...
Oh, babe.
Well, we'll hope it doesn't happen while we're recording, because, well, no one will know. I'll edit it out.
Unless you make a weird face.
Yeah. If I'm like, while you're talking, yeah.
Oh,
totally.
my God. We'll cut it out. Don't worry, everybody.
Yeah, you'll never know, because if I pee myself, don't want that on camera for all of time.
You know, I do have I have a video of me as a teenager, like, you know, me and like some friends recording.
Yeah, I think you've talked about this.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah.
Dancing to Send Me an Angel.
Yeah, and you pee and
I'm
yourself.
laughing so hard I pee myself. So it's always been happening.
Yeah,
it's just never ending.
No.
But yeah, well,
it'll happen forever.
All right. Well, anything else going on besides being sick and pissing yourself?
Oh my God.
I feel like the tables have turned. Usually it's me talking about how I'm sick and pissing myself.
I know. And now I'm sick and pissing myself.
Welcome to my world.
I know. It's temporary. It's fine. Well, today's a rough week. Tomorrow is like the day I lost my dad. So it's like, it's been a rough couple months, but it took a while to figure out like what the buildup was. But now I think I'm a little bit over the hump. It's just kind of the anticipation of the day, you know?
Yes.
But now it's tomorrow, and Pete and I are going to go like out to breakfast, like for him or whatever. And it's not really a day you celebrate. I mean, like shit went down, you know? It's like not a pleasant day. But we just try and do something special. I'll show a picture because I took this down from my I don't know if you can see it, but I'm like showing it I'll show it to you too.
I love that picture.
Yeah, it was on Father's Day like a while ago. We took my dad out to lunch, and Pete was there. He took the picture. But it's just so sweet because there's like a whole series of pictures of my dad, and like he's leaning towards my brother and he's leaning towards me, and we're laughing at him. And I love this picture because I'm like laughing so hard at him and he's making a funny face, and it just like is our little relationship. So
yep, it really does encapsulate too, just like the silliness and the fun.
Yeah, he's kind of he's like, I can't do it because of Botox, but he's like making a funny face, like whoa, like eyebrows and funny face.
Hey,
he's cracking me up, and my brother's just kind of like, is this over?
Yeah. Are
when
we
will
still
this
taking
end?
a picture? Yeah.
Why
I
are they
love
both
it.
being hams? This is embarrassing. Yeah, take the picture and let's move on. But there's other pictures, where him and my dad are being cute. So it's like a
Yeah.
fun series. But yeah, so
Aw.
that's, obviously heavy, and I've been crying a lot in the car.
Doesn't help your cold.
Doesn't
bit.
help my cold. No, hasn't helped. But,
Well, maybe it does. Maybe it helps clear
get things
the
out.
nasal passages out. I don't know.
I don't know.
Or maybe it makes them more swollen. Who's to say?
Who's to say? I just don't know. And the other thing too is I'm very nasally. I got a CPAP machine today for my sleep apnea.
Oh, wow. Sexy.
I know. Oh God.
You know what, though? This is part of it. This
It's
is part
aging.
of getting old. This is part.
I didn't want it for so long, and I fought
I
it. And
know.
I tried to get this. I got this retainer, but with my jaw surgery, it just doesn't work for me. And it's So I
It's a
had to get
CPAP
this.
sitch.
It's a CPAP sitch. Yeah, I'm CPAPing.
It's CPAPing in. It's all CPAPing in.
Oh my God. I wish it wasn't. So I don't know if I should try it tonight.
Try it.
But it's all blocked. So will it even help? I guess it does.
I
guess I should
bet
try
it'll
anyway.
help. I bet it'll help.
It'll
a lot.
force air in there.
Yeah.
But then I might choke on my snot.
Yeah. Well.
Well, we'll find out.
Yeah.
Anyway, what's going on? What's going on over there?
Oh, nothing. We're just it's just Kid Central chilling.
Kid Central.
It's 4:20 today though, so I'll get some weed in my system.
Oh,
by the
after
time-
this? Oh,
Yeah,
you
after
should have
this.
started right before.
I'm scared to smoke weed before I do a
Podcasting?
podcast because I'm afraid that I'm gonna forget everything that I need to talk
Who
about.
cares? Oh,
I
it'd
know
be
that's
so
true.
funny. We have
Yeah.
notes.
That's true. It's true. Well, next time,
Yeah.
next week maybe.
Yeah. Maybe you'll smoke before the Patreon episode we do right after this.
I'll do that. Yeah, I'll do that. I will for
You
sure.
can test out the waters behind the paywall.
Mm-hmm.
Check out our Patreon, patreon.com/DTFU podcast.
Yeah, do it up. Okay, well, today's episode is brought to you by childhood trauma.
Oh my God. I was sweating doing these notes a little.
Oh my God, dude. Because some of the memories that a lot of this shit unlocked for me, because I haven't thought about some of this stuff in a long time. And it really did.
Yeah.
I was I had to plumb some depths. You know what I'm saying?
It's also it's also was I actually scared of that?
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, as a child, you don't know. Okay. So
yeah.
what we're talking about today is this came up because recently I traumatized Jack with a movie.
Yeah.
He's a pretty tough kid, but but you just
Not
don't
on
know.
purpose.
Not on purpose. You just
Yeah.
don't know sometimes. You're like, oh, this is a cute movie. I love this movie when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I'll put it on for my kid.
Yeah.
So I put on Honey, I Shrunk the Kids the other day. And it's kind
Great
of
movie.
It's a great movie. And
Rick
it's kind
Moranis doesn't get much better.
dude, Rick Moranis is fucking the greatest person. I just love him so much.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of a scary movie. It's peril, it's adventure. And but I think Jack likes that kind of stuff, He's into it.
Interesting. Also, and we'll talk about this as a theme later, but kids separated from their parents.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a big theme.
Big theme of a lot
That's
of kids
scary.
movies. So I put this on not remembering the full plot of the movie.
Sure. But also
And-
you have an adult brain now, so you're not even thinking about it with
But I should have known because this scene in the movie, there's a scene in the movie where they befriend an ant.
Yeah.
And it's a baby ant and it helps them and they're riding on it and stuff and it's their buddy and it defends them from a scorpion and it dies.
Yeah.
And it's a pretty, it's
sad.
It's a sad death scene, and it's they're all, the kids are sad. And I don't know that we've watched Lion King before, but I don't think Jack was maybe not that. I think he might have been sad about it, but wasn't he might have been too young or something. We haven't watched it since. So anyway, this though, I I had put it on. I went upstairs to take a shower, came back down. The movie was over, and I was like asking him, "Oh, did you like it?" And then he was like, "Yeah." And then Auntie, like the aunt, got hurt and died, and then like started crying, and I was like, "Oh fuck, oh no!" But it's like I don't want to like shield him from these kind of things. Like I think like all emotions are important to experience, and kids should understand death, dying, all this stuff, but sometimes it's just too damn much. Because first of all, this got us to the episode that we're doing today. It's about movies, childhood movies, kid-centric movies, family-friendly movies that were and are labeled as such, but are extremely fucked up. Like back in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, movies were being made for children that were absolutely fucked. Like,
I know. Like there are movies today still that are being made that like have sadness, but I don't think it's as harsh. Maybe.
No, it's not as harsh. I feel like they handle the themes that are very intense with care. And storytelling and plot a bit better. And
like a child's perspective.
And understanding like what it's going to do, how they portray it is like how it's going to, like people with like fucking PhDs in childhood development are like
on staff. Yeah, totally. Yeah, they're like, hey, this could mess kids up. We should talk about it first.
Yeah, we did not have that in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. These are the movies we grew up with, where they just were like putting the directors of movies.
Yeah.
Specifically childhood, child-centric movies, or putting their own childhood trauma into the movies they were creating, and thus transferring fucking really adult themes and shit that was really real into our faces as children.
Oh my God.
Movie studios are really out here churning out the most traumatizing content and calling it family friendly.
Oh my God. And it's not. You're like, this is your fever dream, okay? This is not appropriate for children. And yet we all went to the theater to see it.
I mean, honestly, like Never Ending Story, that shit was devastating and scary. And it's from a book, obviously. And sometimes those kind of themes are hard to convey outside of a book and put on a screen. I think they did a really good job of it, though, because that movie has, I think it's an all-time gut punch for a lot of people. And I personally don't know that I could ever watch that movie again.
I think that's why I've blocked it out. I know I've seen it as a kid, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed parts of it, and but I literally remember like 2 scenes, and I never watched it again. So it must have traumatized me.
It did, yeah. No, there's certain. As I was like reading through the plot again, because I literally haven't seen Neverending Story in decades. It's been so long. I mean, and like you're saying, you remember certain scenes, but like there's so many things in it that are really heavy and dark, and I feel like it's the child equivalent of watching like Requiem for a Dream or something. Oh my God. Like it's just so intense.
Except they didn't market that as a buddy comedy. You know what I mean? It's like, that's the thing. It's like you go into that movie knowing it's gonna be Trauma City, but like you don't go, these are kids movies, they're made for children, and like you expect them to be on the level of children, and they're not. They're like very adult themes and very adult situations.
Well, but here's the thing, childhood is very scary for a lot of people. And I mean, most kids have to deal with heavy stuff without it being within their control. So I do think it is important to kind of have this stuff represented in media. But like we were saying, like it was done in such a insane way in the 70s, 80s, and 90s.
It's so wild. Yeah.
So I think Neverending Story is on a lot of people's list for like the all-time traumatic movie, like top 10.
Yeah.
But what other kids movies are intentionally or unintentionally sad and or scary?
Yeah.
We want to get into it. So we have some personal picks. I'm sure some will agree. Some may not have ever seen some of these movies, but they're pretty,
I would love to know if
ubiquitous.
people haven't seen these, and I would love to hear if they watched them, what they thought as an adult. Because also it's hard to watch these as an adult without carrying this trauma to them.
Sure. Yeah.
Like, it already made a neural pathway in my brain as being upsetting. You know what I mean? So I can't even watch it with no baggage as an adult.
And some of these, now that I understand the like more adult themes,
oh yeah,
more, it's almost more, it has a different meaning to
more
me.
upsetting.
Like for example, my first trauma movie is Dumbo.
Yes. Oh my God.
I mean, the whole movie is just very, it's
like somber.
It's very somber. It's very, the theme of it is, like bullying, basically. This poor baby elephant has big ears and gets bullied and mistreated, and also like totally exploited,
right?
Eventually, and then is the hero of the movie eventually. But like the beginning of this movie starts off with him having these big ears, and he's just this tiny little baby elephant, and his mom defends him from being bullied by a bunch of fucking asshole children. And she gets thrown into a locked boxcar at the circus, and so his mom's taken away from him for defending
he's orphaned
him. He's orphaned, essentially,
which major theme of Disney.
She's not killed, but like she is.
No, but for the time being.
Yeah. And so there's a scene from this movie that every time I'd watch it, I think my mom was like, we shouldn't watch Dumbo anymore, because every time I'd watch it and this scene would come on, I would just cry so hard. And it's a scene where his mom's taken away from him and he goes to visit her in her like prison cell, basically. And she cuddles him in her trunk. And the song Baby Mine plays, and it's just, and it shows all the mommies with their babies all over the circus, like cuddling and stuff. And it was, to me, it just destroyed me as a kid, because the thought of being taken away from, or your mom being taken away from you, or you being taken away from your mom, was like unfathomable and so upsetting. And it's still like, I was like, I'm gonna watch this scene again and see. And I did, and I, to this fucking day, I can't. It makes me sob. Like I can't. I'm like.
Because your brain's already, because that like permanent neural pathway was created. It will never not make you sad.
The
you know
song,
what I mean?
the theme,
yes,
the like knowing what had happened leading up to it, and now being a parent, it has a even more profound meaning for me, and it's still devastating after all these years.
God. Remember when they were doing those like from. Oh, my nose is so stuffy. Remember when they were doing those Disney concerts like during the quarantine?
Yeah, like the sing-alongs?
Yeah, and Katy Perry sang that song, and she was pregnant. And it was like, it's like such a sweet song, you know? And I like cried at everything during that time period, but just because everything was so sad. But it was so sad. And I just remember being like, oh my God.
Well, it's so tender and it's so sweet, but like the like image of the mom behind bars, basically, like trying to cuddle her baby and comfort him,
but like can't really fully comfort him. Oh my God.
So
tragic.
Fucking just starting off real strong for me.
Oh my God. As I was writing about this next one, I'm like, like, well, first of all, Disney loves an orphan. Okay. And the film that got me, this was the first movie I ever saw in a theater where I cried in public. like, I don't remember crying in a public setting before this. And I swear to God.
Yeah.
Like, but I remember watching this and then not being able to control crying. And now it's very relevant because my dad died, and it's like the anniversary. But when in The Lion King, Mufasa dies, Scar essentially lets him murders him. Yeah. He like tosses him into the stampede of wildebeests while his child is watching, while Simba is right fucking there. And it was, oh my God, it was so upsetting, so tragic. And I think one of the things that was most upsetting for me is that like we see Mufasa die. A lot of Disney films, it's like already understood.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, here's Ariel, she has no mom. Like, but we know they're dead, but like we don't have to watch it. So like you had to watch this. Snot all over my sleeve. Okay, honestly, I can't watch this movie to this day, and I'm glad I don't have kids because I would never let them watch it. I don't think I've seen this movie since.
Really?
Yeah. Maybe once or twice, like in the background, but I don't like this scene. I won't watch it, especially now, probably. And but I did listen to the soundtrack a lot because it slapped. Hakuna Matata.
I know.
Okay. But
your dad was murdered by your uncle? How about we just sing the song about not caring about anything? It's fine.
You don't have any worries. What do you have that are worries?
Yeah. Don't be a little bitch. Just not worry about it.
Yeah. Listen, you're gonna be king.
Yeah.
Okay, but I do want to take a quick moment to talk about Disney because, okay, yes, mostly they have dead parents, but there are a few where the parents die and we have to watch it as the audience, and it's like extra Disney sad. So whereas like the rest are already dead. So here's a few I just want to call out. Okay, Bambi's mom dies in Bambi in front of us.
In front of the audience, yeah.
Yeah, in front of the audience. Quasimodo's mom in The Hunchback of Notre Dame, which I don't really know that
I don't think
it's in the beginning. It's like the bad guy who's like the priest or whatever.
Yeah.
Like kills her on the steps of the cathedral, and that's how he ends up with Quasimodo.
Oh.
I guess that's what I read. I didn't rewatch it. Okay. Tarzan's parents. I've never seen Disney's Tarzan.
I don't know that I have. I feel like I was too old for it or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I just like wasn't interested in it. But Tarzan's parents, both his human parents in the beginning of the movie and then his ape dad at the end of the movie.
Oh.
Which is fucked up. 3 parents.
Ooh.
Okay, Moana and Encanto have a grandparent die. Still sad. Not as hard hitting for me, but also I'm an adult now for 1, and 2, like you said, I just think they handle things a little bit differently. Like there's a little bit more of an ease to it, like ease in and ease out. You know what I mean? Like we already know.
Well, the Encanto one is like
a backstory.
It's a backstory, and but it's sad.
It's fucked up. It's
fucked
violent.
Up. It's violent.
Yeah,
but they don't like show it. That one's like more implied, but it also is like Yeah. And then Moana, it's like her grandma is like, it's like almost like it's giving like to me like Yoda and Obi-Wan
like she's
Kenobi,
still
like,
everywhere.
She's still everywhere.
Yes,
like,
agreed.
And like appears to her and is like guiding her still. Like,
also, she was old, so it's kind of like
old,
okay, she's like a very old lady.
Yeah.
Coco, I don't remember. Like we know someone dies, but they're all dead.
I like Coco, and it doesn't make me cry. I mean, the song does.
The song, oh my, I can't listen to it. So I was sobbing immediately.
But like the way that they deal with death is like, here is like an entire place for death, and it's okay, and you know what I mean?
And we're all together, yeah.
However, the thing of where if nobody's left in the land of the living to remember you, that shit's fucking
my God, sad, dude. That makes me sad.
But that's like why you have to like be. I don't know. Like I don't know.
I know.
It's a great movie.
The other day, Pete was like, "We should like get a plaque somewhere or something for your dad." So it's just like there for a long time, and I was like, "Oh, that's a good idea." So we'll have to think about that. Just so it's like there.
Yeah.
But I'm memorializing him on this podcast.
Absolutely. Oh my God. 1,000%.
Oh my God. Okay, so then also Up. I would love to know if this affects kids. Well, you'll have to show it to Jack and see if it traumatizes him, because the wife dies in the beginning, but it's not.
I feel like it's sadder for
an adult
adults
because you have a partner.
And you have like a life
Yeah.
together, you know,
Yes.
or like you're,
Okay.
yeah. So
I agree.
maybe, yeah.
I agree. Okay, because I don't know. Like it made me sad as a grown ass woman, but I was
yeah.
I have a life partner. I know what that would feel like. You know.
Yeah, totally.
Oh my God, Disney fucking people up since the 50s.
Truly.
Yeah.
Okay, so my next trauma movie though is All Dogs Go to Heaven. This is I believe this movie came out in 1988.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
This movie is so goddamn intense and sad.
Yes. Dude, it's in the title. There's dogs that are gonna die in this movie, okay?
Like, it's like, okay, all dogs will die and all dogs go to heaven. Okay.
Ugh.
I'm positive this movie, I'm 100% positive this movie gave me my first existential crisis about the passage, truly, about the passage of time and the eventual death of everyone I love.
Oh my God.
And my own mortality.
Yeah.
So thank you for that. All Dogs Go to Heaven. Also, this movie has a very, very adult plot line. It's like
there's like gambling and shit, right?
Yeah, the dogs are trying to open casinos.
Oh, yeah.
They're like working at casinos, and they're like very mob adjacent. Like it's like, you know, and like the main dog Charlie is murdered by voiced by Burt Reynolds, by the way.
Oh
like
my
what
God.
But he's like murdered by like a mob boss kind of figure.
Yeah.
So there's a hell scene. There's murder and manipulation and all kinds of like decidedly adult themes in this movie. And like I said, Burt Reynolds is voicing the main character dog. Like, what are they doing? Like, I just envision the directors all sitting around smoking, drinking fucking a highball and just being like, yeah, let's make this fucking movie, I guess, huh?
Oh my God.
Like, let's traumatize some kids, huh? So it's just like, that movie, just the themes of it, like heaven and hell. And like for me growing up, I was not raised with religion.
Yeah.
My parents never took me to church. I had to take myself to church. And I think I started going after I saw this movie. I'm not fucking kidding. So I was like, heaven, hell. And like there's this hell scene in it. And I was like, oh my God, am I going to go to hell? Like, what the fuck is this? And so that's where all my like, you know, weird ideas about religion came from, probably. Also, there's a horrible, very unfun fact about this movie. The little girl that voiced Anne Marie, her name was Judith Barcy. She also voiced Ducky in The Land Before Time, which we will talk about a little bit later.
Yeah.
And she was murdered by her father. This man, her father, murdered her and her mother.
Oh my God! While she was a child?
Yeah, she was only 10 years old. This was.
Oh my God!
I don't want to talk about all the details or anything, but it was like murder, suicide, and
oh no!
This movie, All Dogs Go to Heaven, was her final movie.
Oh,
bless this sweet girl.
Oh,
she's forever a child. May her memory be a blessing.
Oh,
she voiced some of the most iconic, you know,
for that time, 80s films.
Voices, 80s films of this. So bless her. Sad.
Oh my God. Well, okay. My next one is, and I've talked about this on here before because it formed some part of my personality, how traumatizing it was. I know it did. Okay, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
Dude.
First of all, this movie is already a fever dream, okay? From the weirdo grandpa flying in the outhouse, like, what is that, you know? To, like, breakfast being made by a Rube Goldberg machine. Like, there's a lot going on.
I love that.
I love it, too. But it's, like, weird. Like,
yeah.
And there's no mom, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, why is Bert from Mary Poppins the dad in this? You know, that was always my thought. It's like, this isn't
Mary Poppins.
Yeah, where's Mary Poppins?
Yeah.
And so by the time we get to this part, I'm going to highlight you're already uneasy. Like, it's just so many wild things going on. You're already, like, primed for more creepiness, and it comes at the perfect time. The child catcher, okay? I remember being 3 or 4 years old and watching this and having to leave the room because he was just too scary to me. I remember having a friend over, and I think I was, like, hamming it up a little bit, but also I, like, didn't want to watch it. And so I was like, and then I was like forcing myself, you know, from around the corner to like try and watch it. And oh my God, it was just that one time that I remember. After that, I was fine watching it. Like, he always makes me feel icky, and I don't like him.
Yeah, I think he makes a lot of people feel very icky.
He does. Oh, he does. Okay, let's talk about that. But really quick, I want to give some like fun facts about him, because apparently he was like a well-known, like he was knighted by the queen. Like, yeah. Okay. So the film version and then later the stage version of the child catcher was played by ballet dancer Sir Robert Helpman. And by all accounts, he was like cool as fuck and like a very lovely man. And Dick Van Dyke recalled an incident where Helpman's carriage, you know, he like has the carriage that looks like a sweets truck or an ice cream truck or whatever, lollies. It's like the lolly truck. And, you know, he's doing like that weird little tippy toe dance with like his creepy nose and hat. And he's like, children. And he's all like makeup caked. Like, it's all cakey. So many things are off to me with him. That creep me out. And his hair's too black for his face. It's like, like, you're like, he's old, but why is his hair that like drastically black, you know? It just doesn't look right. None of it is right. And so that's on purpose, obviously. But and so he's like, you know, tiptoeing and stuff. Well, on one of the takes or a rehearsal or something, the carriage tipped over that he was riding, the horse-drawn carriage, and but like Dick Van Dyke recalls him like gracefully swinging out of the carriage and like skipping across the cobblestone and just like safely somehow, like as it rolled over, he like just like tiptoed out of it, like twinkled out of it. And probably because he was like such a great dancer, and he was 60 years old at the time,
and he was just so coordinated and with it that he just like flop.
He was a full senior citizen. Yeah, he just like fucking Willy Wonka rolled, but like in real life as a senior. And then oh my God, his child co-stars, the people that played the kids, you know, recalled later that Helpman was extremely kind to them, like between takes, making them laugh. He even like protected them from the director, who had a horrible temper. Ken Hughes was like swearing a lot during the making of this film, which is like, this is a family-friendly film. Everybody calm down. Like, this is not the vibe, okay?
Yeah.
But he would like swear and yell in front of them. And Helpman like called out the director at one point and was like, please, you're like scaring the children. Which
I am the child catcher, and I am telling you, you're being very scary.
But like to the point that like the kids, it made them hard to act scared of him in the takes because they really loved him. Yeah. Isn't that so sweet?
That is really sweet.
I know.
I mean, like that's just how it has to be. Like, you can't play the child catcher and be an actual like
scary
creep in real life. Like,
no, you can't. It's people will know.
Yeah.
But he did a great job. Great actor, because it's truly the creepiest, and there's so many Reddit threads about it. Like, I wanted to see what people were saying, and so many, like, there are so many threads because people are so affected by this part of this film, okay? In what is otherwise like a sweet movie, you know, it's a musical, and there's
chitty bang.
And there's like fun stuff, but then there's also really creepy weird stuff. Like, even the childless town is creepy to me. But there was a user, Delirious, and they had a quote in there. They wrote, "To this day, he terrifies me. We went to see the stage show, which was brilliant, but the moment he came on stage, I tensed up, and it was made worse by giving him a song." So he has a song, I guess, in the staged version, which is like very funny to me. But people hate it.
I mean, it's fair. Yeah. That dude is terrifying.
Dude.
Okay, my third trauma movie is The Land Before Time.
Oh.
I mean, this is another one of the movies that it's just like, of our generation, this is a movie that everybody saw. I feel like you were sat in the theater to see this as a child.
Yes. Yeah.
Growing up, if you're our age.
We also had it on VHS and would watch it.
Yeah.
Because my brother and I just did that. We would get a movie we liked and watch it like every day
over
for
and
months.
over again.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%.
And this was a movie we did that with.
Yeah. This movie is basically about the dinosaurs dying out and trying to survive a famine. And of course, the mom dies right in the beginning. Littlefoot's mom gets fucking fucked up by this goddamn other dinosaur. And it's so sad. And it's just like you're seeing her dying.
God. And he's like, Mama.
Like, to this day, dude, it's so like, I can feel the
horrible
sadness of it. Brutal. I was like 5 when I saw this for the first time, right when it came out. Yeah. Like I said, I was sat in the theater, I think, for this, and I think it set me up for trust issues with kids movies. Like, honestly, like, I was like, is this going to be a sad movie? Like, every time I think after this movie that we'd go to like see a movie, I'd be like, Mommy, is this sad? Is this gonna make me cry? You know,
my God.
Yeah. And so I'd be like, anxious going to the movies after this. God damn it. I know.
Yeah, it was it was a really upsetting movie.
Yeah. So, and I honestly, like, a lot of it I blanked out because it was so upsetting. This was not a movie I could watch over and over again, but I did see it several times as a kid. But like, I think like the way your brain works, like as a kid, you kind of are just like, I'm gonna just black this whole thing out, and
fast forward.
Yeah. Also, going back to the little girl that did the voice of Ducky in this movie. Yeah. On her, this is so fucking sad, guys. I'm so sorry. But on her gravestone, on her headstone, it says, yep. Like, that was the line.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
It's so sad, but also I was not a fan of that character.
I know, but.
Yeah. But better than Sarah, the Triceratops.
Yeah.
Is that her name?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. She was annoying as fuck.
Yeah.
When I want to do this and my parents said this and blah blah blah, and my dad or whatever, and you're like, shut the fuck up, dude. There's no parents around here. We're children on our own. Yeah. And that is like a major upsetting theme to me. Like,
children in peril.
Yeah, children in peril with no adults. No adults is like so triggering to me. It's wild that Jack is like gravitates towards that or like likes movies.
Well, because I don't know. I think it's because we provide such not to say like that, you or I didn't have didn't have that same and stable, very like safe environment, but like I feel like he knows like this could never happen or whatever. You know what I mean? Like this, like kids could never be. But it's like naive, you know what I mean?
Oh,
it's like,
yeah, because I always thought it could happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was always like, but also I was like a little, I don't know too much about you, like, but I think we were similar in this way where we kind of like looked after ourselves a little bit. I know I did. My brother was very sick when he was a baby and was in the hospital a lot. And I was kind of like just at my grandma's or, like my parents were busy. Sometimes. And so I learned to like kind of look after myself. So I think it was very threatening to me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, oh, this could happen. Like, like people could be not around when I need them or something. And that would be so scary.
Yeah.
So
I think it was for me a little bit more existential where it was just like the death and dying like was a real thing. And I think it's because my great grandma died when I was probably like 6 or 7.
Oh yeah, me too.
And it was like very formative, and so and like I remember going to her funeral and it was an open casket funeral and like we did like a private viewing before the wake,
Oh God, yeah.
And I went in to see her in her casket with like my dad and my uncles, and I think my mom was like probably like with my brother or like somewhere else, and my dad and my uncles were like, you can like touch her if you want to, and I did.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And so I think like that, and then like the knowledge that like this person is like no longer here, this is like just a, you know, shell of a human, like that, it became real for me at a young age. And then seeing it like in a children's movie, being like, this, you guys don't understand, this shit can actually happen, like people can die, you don't know,
dude,
like, you know what I mean? And it's not just like a part of a movie, it's not just a plot point, it's like a real fucking thing that is happening in this world as we speak.
Oh my God.
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know.
That's wild.
I know.
Yeah. I don't know what it is, but it's like, I definitely didn't like movies. I had a really uneasy feeling, and maybe this is like on purpose, you know, like, but I just always felt uneasy when the parents were separated from the kids, and the, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, like, you're just so uneasy. Those like really close calls where like the dad almost sees them, or you know, like they're so close they didn't even know it, or like an American Tail or whatever, where it's like the trains just miss each other or whatever, like they're walking, they don't even know how close they are. That would like be so upsetting to me. Yeah. It's just good storytelling.
Truly.
Okay. My next one is Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Dude.
I had to actually look up if this was actually meant to be a children's movie. It's a family movie. It's not necessarily a children's movie, but the fact that they let children watch this film.
Okay, I wanted to talk about this exact thing because I think it's just because it was animated, our parents like thought it was okay for us to watch, and they were like, yeah, this is a cartoon, so it's like, it's a kid's movie. Yeah. It most certainly is not. Okay?
I mean, there's a big tittied woman right there on the fucking front, okay?
Jessica Rabbit.
This should already be a red flag that this is not a movie for kids.
No shade.
Iconic.
I
mean, yeah, iconic, and she's gorgeous, and she's a cartoon, but like, that's like sex from a colored pencil or whatever. Like, this is not for children.
Yeah. And like, first of all, it's like it's a noir, you know, it's like a detective noir.
And there's death and stuff.
There's death and there's,
but like murder. It's not
murder.
Even like, yeah.
And I mean, Who Framed Roger Rabbit? It's like he's framed for the murder of somebody. So it's like hard-boiled detective with cartoons. Yeah. And it's like the concept of it is very funny.
Yeah.
It's
great.
It's an amazing movie.
Oh my God. It's like a perfect movie.
It truly is great.
It's so like, like just the whole idea of like the contrast of Eddie's sad life, like after his brother dies, with like cartoon Roger Rabbit, and like how colorful, like Eddie's very muted, he's very sad, his life is very like,
it's
depressing.
The noir, it's like the noir vibes.
He's like a drunk.
Yeah.
And he's in bars all the time, and it's like he's broke, you know. And then Roger is like this Hollywood star, and he's in full Technicolor, and he's a cartoon, and he like has a live out loud
and
policy.
He's energy, and he's just like,
It's so good. It's like such a fun, perfect film. But and Bob Hoskins,
R.I.P.
He is my childhood. I feel like he's so great. He's Mr. Smee in Hook, also troubling.
Yeah.
He is Mario and Mario Brothers from the 90s. He's so great. Anyway,
the original Super Mario Brothers with John Leguizamo, an iconic film.
Oh my God, so good. Okay, but I want to talk about obviously the traumatic things from this film. Okay, the dip. The little fucking shoe. Oh my God. He's so sad, and he's like squealing, and then they kill a fucking animated shoe, and it's so sad, and it's just a shoe. But as an audience, you're like, oh my God. And it's so sad. And you know, like, this is what they're trying to do to all the cartoons. And so you feel very sad and scared, you know, because there's
it's like an extermination of
a whole species.
Yeah, it's so sad.
It's so sad.
And scary.
And scary. And that leads to, obviously, the judge, played by the brilliant Christopher Lloyd. He's so good in this. And the way, like, he's not so scary until he breaks into his like cartoonishness, you know, but he's just kind of menacing and kind of creepy. Like, you're like, oh, he's mean, but is he evil? And then when he loses his shit,
he's giving like a Nazi doctor or something
he
through
is.
the whole movie. And then he
with his like little tuft of hair on the top.
And then he gives like, and then the very end is like, oh, he is actually a tune.
Also, his death scene is very scary.
Oh, that
it's like,
whole, you know, denouement, that whole like
the
build
crescendo,
up, crescendo of the movie is amazing.
It's so good. It's such. I still
the music.
Love it.
Oh my God, it's so good.
Oh my God, and he just like it has so many adult themes.
So scary. It's so adult. It's so
affairs.
Intense.
Like, there's affairs, and like there's just so much happening. As a kid, you don't really understand, but that's what's fun about movies like this. And you watch them as you continue to age. Mm-hmm. They start to reveal themselves as like way more nuanced than you thought. As a kid, You're like, I didn't even know it was called Who Framed Roger Rabbit for like so many years as a kid. And I just called it Roger Rabbit. And then I was like, oh, Who Framed Roger Rabbit? And then it's like, oh yeah, he's framed in the movie. And then
murder.
It's like, murder. And then it's like the whole Acme, you know, thing, and the trains and the freeways and all this stuff. And you're just like, you start to like there's just so many layers, and it's such a perfect movie. I don't know.
It really
I love
is.
It. Yeah.
Well, my last movie that I'll highlight is, for me, a traumatic movie that is also very beautiful and brilliant is, the movie The Bear.
I've never seen this.
I don't know if a lot of people have seen this or not. It is a live action French film that stars Bart the bear, like the iconic like trained grizzly bear.
Yeah.
And then another bear cub that was like in movies. And they're the main characters of the movie, basically. It follows this baby bear cub around. And in the very beginning, the bear's mom dies, is crushed by like a rock slide while they're trying to forage honey. It's so fucking sad.
No animals were harmed in the making.
No animals were
film.
harmed. It was all. It's. This movie is so unique. First of all, like I don't know that I've seen another movie like this really, except for like maybe Homeward Bound, which is a great movie, not traumatic at all to me.
Traumatic to me, but
it's kind of traumatic. But
yeah.
But it's basically like there's hardly any dialogue in it. There's no like voiceover. It's just you're observing this like baby bear cub trying to survive without its mom, and then it meets this big, you know, adult bear, Bart the bear, out in the wilderness, and they like forge a friendship. And then there's the only humans that are in this movie are these like hunters that are out trying to track Bart the bear. And it's like you're like, oh my God, they're being hunted. And then they like the plot is very simple, but basically these hunters like get the baby, then Bart the bear comes and rescues the baby. It's like, is he gonna kill the hunters? And he like lets them go. And then it's like this whole thing of kind of anthropomorphizing these animals, but it's a really beautiful movie too. Like the cinematography is like incredible. I think it's like shot out in Europe somewhere. I can't remember, but it's just a really cool movie. I think I want to watch it again. I think I might show it to Jack. Maybe I'll fast forward through the mom dying part, but
or be like, see, this could happen, so you better be nice to me.
Yeah, I could die anytime. Yeah,
give him some real trauma.
I could be crushed in a rock slide like this bear.
So you better love me and eat your vegetables.
No, I don't want to emotionally manipulate my son, but
No,
you know, I'll
not
do
more
what
than
I
you have to.
Not more than I have to.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I think though I love this movie so much. Like me and my brother, this is like a on repeat movie for us.
Yeah.
But I think my mom started fast forwarding through the mom dying scene.
Yeah.
Just to get on with the rest of the movie. Get on with the rest of the action. Because it is a really interesting, cool, sweet movie. I don't know.
With a big sad part.
Yeah, I'd really like to watch it again to see how it holds up.
Yeah. That's how I feel about a lot of the. Well, I mean, I've seen I've seen all of these as adults for the most part, except Lion King, of course, which we already talked about.
Yeah.
I won't watch that. Okay, my last one is a 1987 live action Alice Through the Looking Glass. It's basically like an Alice in Wonderland movie. Wonderland. And I think Alice in Wonderland in general is very upsetting to me. It's like so absurd and creepy, and it's supposed to be, and I can appreciate that now, but I think and it's funny too because it's like my mom's favorite is Alice in Wonderland. It's like her favorite ride at Disneyland. Like she like loves it so much, and I loved the Cheshire Cat growing up and stuff like that. I had one for a long time that my dad got me, but like I don't know, just like Alice in Wonderland, it was like too. She just was like, I don't know, it was like maybe Kid on Their Own triggering, and maybe just that there's a lot of weirdos. Nobody's acting.
You don't know who to trust.
You don't know who to trust, and you can't trust anyone because they're all crazy. You know.
Yeah.
Okay, so this one was live action though, and I remember sleeping at my friend Kelly's house, and we made this like big pillow fort bed thing in her like upstairs den.
Aww.
And I don't think it was I thought maybe we watched it on TV, but maybe they had recorded like a VHS of it from TV or something. There was like very jarring commercial breaks in it.
Yeah.
I watched a clip earlier, and I think that's just how it's edited. Like it was edited for TV, but you could buy the VHS.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, things didn't line up. It's like when you watch something with no commercials on Hulu, and sometimes they, like, go back.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's like they're about to break up. And then, like, and then suddenly they're about to break up still.
You're like, wait, what?
Yeah, it's, like, weird.
Yeah.
And so I just remember watching this and, like, sweating start to finish. I was just like, what is this film? I don't like it. Where's my mom? You know, you're, like, at someone else's house. The scary parts are not what you think they are. Like, yes, it's the part where she's like stuck in the house and she sees her family and they can't hear her and she's like looking through the mirror and then the Jabberwocky comes. Like, that's scary. But the scarier part to me was fucking Carol Channing as the White Queen. Okay. It is. You think, oh, Carol Channing's so camp, and she is, but it just comes off so harsh. And I rewatched it's like No Jam Tomorrow. Or it's like jam tomorrow, jam yesterday, but no jam today. It's like a song.
Yeah.
And she's like, first of all, she's acting drunk. And I was like, this is upsetting. And then she's like singing. And it's like you see every one of her teeth. And it's just like so
intense.
And I was just like,
jarring.
I don't like this lady. Watching it today, I was like, this is funny. And she's wild. You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. And there's just this theme in that film. Where again it's like she's just trying to get home, and there's like that idea of just trying to get home and not being able to get home and like needing to get home. It's like we've talked about being like separated from your parents. It's like Labyrinth has that for me. Like it's so good, but it's like Sarah just can't get home. She's so close a few times and she just like doesn't make it, and they're like, oh, if she just would have gone that way, she would have gone straight home, you know. And you're like, no. And that sort of thing. Land Before Time we talked about, An American Tail, like it's all of that for me, and that's what this movie is for me. It's like at some point and Wizard of Oz, you know, it's like I just want to get home. I feel I need my mom, you know. It's so hard watching that as a kid and an adult.
I think that like all these things are like very deeply resonant for us as kids, because like it's issues of trust, it's issues of abandonment, it's issues of all these things that have become, you know, that are being put in these movies, and made very real for a moment on screen. So it's just like very typical things that kids worry about, and like I said, made real.
It's so funny though if you think about like Moana, for example. Like it's like such a more empowering story
because she wanted to go out to sea.
It's for a purpose. It's not like I'm just running away. From you because I hate you, and then you're like lost. It's like, which is like Alice in Wonderland, you know? It's like, you're being a bitch. I'm gonna go do this thing, or I'm gonna go chase this cat because you fell asleep, like her sister or whatever. Because
that is like the lesson that it's trying to teach you to not run away, to not you know. But with this, it's like, I think nowadays it's like, no, this is okay. You're allowed to be independent, and to like, there's crazy bad things out there, but like if you have the tools, you'll be okay. So anyway, I think that's like a lot of the overarching themes. We have a few honorable mentions though to talk about that are very interesting, and we also like did an impromptu poll of our families just to like see what was on their agenda for childhood trauma. So a couple honorable mentions for me. Ghostbusters. I don't know how this movie didn't scare me more as a child. Like, there are definitely scary parts of it. Where it's like, holy shit, that, like, watching it today, I'm like, that's scary. And also it is decidedly not a children's movie, but they made it very child-centric with the, like, a lot of the spin-off stuff. There was like a cartoon. All the toys and stuff. Like, my brother, you know, there was like Halloween costumes. My brother dressed as Egon for literal years. So that, you know, it didn't traumatize me. It was a very formative part of my childhood. So it didn't traumatize me.
Kids see, but it's not necessarily for kids.
But
where like a lot of the movies we talked about are for kids. So it's like, but that's like PG-13 or something probably.
Right, but it also was like marketed to kids.
Right,
in a
you
weird
still
way.
saw it.
They
wouldn't market movies like that to kids now, I don't think.
No, definitely not. And then Willow is another honorable mention for me. It was an all-time favorite movie of mine and my brother's. Like, these two movies, Ghostbusters and Willow, constantly playing, in our house. But those motherfucking trolls in Willow were so terrifying, so scary. And then also there's a scene where the evil queen witch Bavmorda turns everyone into pigs, and that's very scary. So yeah, those are a couple of my honorable mentions, but they didn't. God. Those two movies should have traumatized me, but for whatever reason didn't, and I watched them on repeat. Okay, I texted my mom and my brother. Well, my brother's here visiting right now, and so around the dinner table. So I texted my mom and dad, and I talked to my brother and DJ about what movies fucked them up, and my brother said Darby O'Gill and the Little People, which is a very, very valid. There's a scene with banshees, and it's very scary. And then he also said that Ursula from The Little Mermaid scared him when he was little. DJ said Radio Flyer. The movie Radio Flyer was marketed as like a family film, but it is truly one of the most fucked up plots I've ever heard. Basically, the kids are abused by their stepdad, and it's like there's two brothers, and one of the brothers is eventually murdered by the stepdad.
Wait, is this the movie? In this movie, is the mom the same mom from Titanic?
I don't know. I'm not sure. But Tom Hanks is like telling the story as an adult, as one of the boys. And Elijah Wood plays one of the brothers. And so the way they disassociate from the, you know, abuse that they suffer is by pretending that the radio flyer actually flies them away. God. And like, that's how the brother, like how he deals with his brother being murdered by his stepdad. Oh my God. Okay.
So
fucked up.
I haven't seen this movie.
No. It seems horrible. And he's like, the
younger kid too is from something.
I don't know. I didn't look at the IMDb. I just like looked at the basic plot, or like DJ like told me
the younger kid's from Jurassic Park.
Oh yeah.
Jurassic Park. Mm-hmm. Okay. I haven't seen it.
So yeah, DJ said he like saw this like thinking it was like a family friendly movie.
No.
And it was just like, so he's like, He's like, I watched that movie and it fucked me up. He's like, it kept me up at night as a kid. I was like, oh my God, poor baby.
That's like a movie with kids, but it's marketed or it's like made for adults, probably.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just like, it's sad.
It's sad.
And then he also said The Witches, which very valid. Angelica Houston. He's like, Angelica Houston, that shit fucked me up.
Bald head.
Her like the no toes. Like that was, it is very, very scary.
Oh my God.
And then I texted my mom and dad. My mom said, Old Yeller, yes, classic. That'll fuck you up.
Yeah. That fucked her up?
Yeah. It's like they have to shoot the fucking dog.
Yeah.
Because it gets rabies.
Oh my God.
To Kill a Mockingbird, speaking of rabies, there's a scene with the dog that gets rabies and is like running around town and they have to kill a dog. And Bambi. Those 3 movies really did a number on her. And I think she was afraid of Chitty Chitty Bang Bang too. I don't think she let us watch it because it scared her.
That's funny.
And then my dad said Pinocchio. That's all he said. He's like, Pinocchio, it still scares me.
Oh my God.
That's what he said.
Yeah, it is scary. It's very dark after they go to Pleasure Island.
He said the scene where they all turn into donkeys is really, really scary.
Totally. They're like bragged and like, again, it's like they're separated from their parents and they'll never get back home. Like they're donkeys now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay. I texted my mom to see if she remembered which movies freaked me out, and my brother. I was like, do you remember if we were ever scared of any movies, And she said Chitty Chitty Bang Bang for me, of course. But then also the 3 W's. Wizard of Oz, Willy Wonka, and then The Witches was my brother's addition. But Wizard of Oz, because my mom said I was always afraid of the flying monkeys at the end.
They're scary.
Like when they're like really, getting turned.
Yeah.
And then Willy Wonka, Slugworth. I was scared. She's like, you were always scared of the man. And I'm like, oh, Slugworth? You mean Daddy Slugworth? Not anymore.
No, not
anymore.
And then my brother, know how Nicole feels about Slugworth now.
And then my brother said The Witches, but I never saw it. So he must have seen it at a friend's house, which adds a layer. I think that's why that Alice in Wonderland scared me so much, because like I wasn't at home feeling safe.
Wait a second.
What?
You still haven't seen The Witches?
No, I watched it last year.
Oh, okay.
And the kids turn into mice or rats or whatever. Yeah, I watched it. It was good. But I hadn't seen it.
Oh my God. Yeah. I think that would have fucked you up as a kid because like they're turned into mice.
Yeah. And the parents don't know, right?
Yeah. And they're like separated from their parents. And also there's the scene of the whole thing of like the little girl being trapped in the painting.
Oh.
And that's God. Like, that's horrible.
Okay. While we were talking, I remembered one more. And it was when you said the like witch in Willow. And it reminded me, what I was really scared of, but I would force myself to watch it, was Captain EO at Disneyland. Because that shit was 3D, bitch. And the scary lady she was like on these wires and she had these like really long nails and that would like come out for you and I'd always be so scared.
Dude.
But I'd force myself. I'd be like, I'm going. And my parents would be like, are you sure? I'm like, yes. And then I'd just be like waiting, like taking my glasses off so she couldn't get me.
Dude, we are so lucky we got to experience that.
It is so fun. I think they bring it back sometimes, like
really?
For retro. I think so. I feel like I've seen postings about it. I'll have to Google it, but it was so fun, and it's musical, and Michael Jackson's in it, and like he dances. And there was like that little like fluttery like furry butterfly thing.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Oh my God!
Wow, you guys! Wow, we really dated ourselves here with this episode.
Yeah.
But you know what? That's just the way it is.
It is, yeah. We're children of the 80s and 90s, so we are carrying the trauma.
Yeah.
And passing it along.
Yeah. These movies, like I said, they're somebody else's trauma that got transferred to us, and I'm so happy that kids now they're able to see these same kind of things if they want to. We could show our kids these movies, but I feel like they're so much better prepared to like talk about their fears and like use their words better than we ever could, and to like Jack tells me when he's anxious or when he's uncomfortable, he has the vocabulary for that. And it's like, if ever there's a time where I'm like, you know, do you not like this or do you not want to watch it? I make sure that like he's okay. And then if he needs to like talk to me afterwards, like about Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, it's like, we'll talk about it. And I'll be like, baby, you know that that's not real. Like, it's okay. But things do die and people do die and animals die. And, you know, so having these conversations, I'm glad we had this stuff to watch, to have these kind of, you know, existential freakouts. It's traumatic, but also I can't imagine not feeling anything either.
I know. Well, and that's something like, you know, you like we talked about like watching some of these movies over and over. Like I watched An American Tail so much, and the second one, and it made me cry like every time. I'd be a little weepy.
Oh my God. And the whole entire theme of that, you know, American Tail is it's like a Jews escaping a Russian pogrom. Like that's literally what it is. Like,
no, yeah. And it's so, you know, they use cats and mice as like stand-ins for people, but it's like, no, this is like heavy shit. And
I think like that's how they got away with so much of this stuff, making these children's films.
Dude,
all the like the characters are animals, and they're stand-in. It's standing for
or
humans.
Fairies or whatever, like in Fern Gully. But like, you know, I am grateful that we got a lot of these films like Fern Gully, because it's like, oh yeah, like we're destroying the rainforest. Like we need to do something about it. And we learned that story. And now like each generation is trying to be way more conscious of the environment. And like shit like that helps, you know, like, we were kids, but it made us feel sad that the rainforest isn't, you know, it is emotional manipulation, I guess, but it's like for the good.
Yeah, I just think we're better equipped, and we also are like not ashamed to go to therapy. To deal with. We have tools that are, you know, like that the baby boomers didn't have. Yeah,
they were just repressing everything, but that's what they learned, you know.
Yeah, so
hard times.
Hard times, but we're able to talk about it now and suss out our emotions from childhood, and we're okay.
Yeah.
Sort of. You know? We're doing all right.
We're doing incrementally, even
better.
If it's a half percentage better. Yeah, we're trying. Each generation's trying. Listen, we're getting some things wrong too, I'm sure.
For sure.
But
we'll have to see when Jack goes to therapy.
Yeah, what he talks about.
Yeah,
for sure.
Oh my God. All right. Well, that's all we got. You guys let us know what your childhood trauma movies are.
Yeah.
I want to know.
I want to know too. And the scenes. Like what about it was.
Yeah. Like specific.
The scene and the theme of it. Like what was.
What about the movie freaked you out the most?
Yeah. Obviously, if you're in our Patreon, you'd tell us in the Discord. And if you're not, you tell us on social medias at DTFU Podcast on all the platforms.
That's right. Go to our website. It's dtfupodcast.com. We have merch there, and anywhere you want to go, if anything you want to see, we got a YouTube channel. We got all that.
Yeah.
You can access all that from our YouTube channel, or from our website, I should say.
Yeah.
So yeah, check it out. And that's it. You guys, stay excellent to yourselves
and each other. Bye.
Bye-bye. Chitty bang bang, chitty chitty bang bang, chitty bang bang, chitty chitty
bang. No.